we are family. So you know we are happy to be back together again in this historic campus 4 years later. BE-U is an organization, and it is also a movement.
You know, I was walking up the ramp, and quite a number of our students stopped me and said, "Professor Blake, what's going on in that theater?" I said, "What do you mean?" "I have never seen such good-looking black people in my life." I have the pleasure of introducing the leader of this college. And I can say a lot about him, and you can read about him on in the website. But I'll just pull out a few things. He's a nationally recognized executive with 30 years of experience leading education and healthcare organizations. He is the former president of Essex County College, one of the most diverse colleges in New Jersey, and a national leader in boosting the social mobility of his graduates. Prior to that, he was president of Malcolm X College, part of the City Colleges of Chicago system. President Borough is a first-generation U.S. citizen who grew up in the Bronx and attended New York City public schools. I'll say it again, and attended New York City public schools. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dr. Anthony Monroe.
I'm from the Bronx. Let's correct that. The BS. Okay. White Plains Road, anybody y'all heard about that? Gun Hill Road, PS 41 Annex, PS 103. How about Michelangelo? Yeah? How about Evander Childs High School? Yeah? Well, those institutions gave me a solid education. It's a great honor and a distinct pleasure to welcome you all, members of the Black Edfluencers-United organization, to Borough of Manhattan Community College. I'm excited to have you here today, and excited and looking forward to hearing some of the reports that will be shared today. Who is BMCC? We're part of the City University of New York, the largest urban university in the country. BMCC is home, and you can read this slide for yourself, and if you all would like, we can even share this information. But we are the home to almost 20,000 students.
I'm a council member, Rita Joseph, representing the 40th district in Brooklyn, also serving as the chair. Brooklyn, where's Brooklyn? Brooklyn's in the house. I know you here. The center of the universe. Sorry, Prez. The center of the universe. I also serve as the chair of the Education Committee in the New York City Council. But prior to going to the council, I was Miss Joseph at PS6 in Brooklyn in District 17. 22 years. I grew up in my school building. I know. I don't look 20. I know. You know black don't crack. You know. 22 years serving New York City children with a passion. And I know that they always say that I made the first de facto community schools in my building. When I walked in, I went to an affluent school district, but what district I chose to teach in didn't have those. So I said, I need to change this. We need to make sure my kids have computers, they have clothes, and whatever barriers that was stopping them from achieving what they needed to achieve, we're gonna remove those barriers. So that's what Councilmember Joseph was doing. So I remember those days being in the classroom, but I also know that our role as educators is not only to teach, but uplift the whole child, to be pillars in our community and help advance the mission and role of education. But we carry something very special and unique about us. To be Black educators means to carry that extra cape of hope for the students that look like us. We have a social and moral responsibility to be the best we can be for both our youth and peers. As the chair of education in New York City Council, I'm on a mission. I'm focused on ensuring public school system equity, support, and innovation for our students. For me, it's imperative that we have a culturally relevant curriculum and for the most diverse educators teaching our students.
Good evening. I bring you greetings from the Board of Directors, from Black Edfluencers-United, whose mission is to serve Black educators, influence others, and impact Black children. It is so nice to be here, back at BMCC. Last time we were here, it was in 2018, but it's so nice to see all of you back in person again. And we were here in 2018, and at that time, at the end, the goal of the meeting was to answer the call. It was a call to action to form an organization that would speak to this mission. And there were 10. There were 10 of us who met every month, sometimes twice a month, even during the pandemic. And then in February of 2021, we had a virtual launch for this organization. And now, look at us. Look at all of you here. Look at all of you here. Okay. Recently, someone asked me, they said, well, what made you join BE-U? And you mentioned it. Our fearless leader, Chancellor David Banks, and Dr. Bernard Gassaway used to have these meetings of Black educators. And I recall the first time I went, and I was meeting with a friend to go, and she canceled. And I didn't want to walk in the room alone. I lamented going in that room. But I said, you know, I'm going to go. And I was pleasantly surprised. The networking that went on, and they had where you could stand, you had the opportunity to stand and say if you were looking for a position, and someone would match and say, I need to, you know, fulfill this position. But that whole like synergistic modality of engagement, I was in awe. So when I was asked to be a part of this board, I remembered how that made me feel. And I said, yes, sign me up, sign me up. And this organization doesn't just align with my personal values, but it also aligns with my current role as Superintendent of Community School District 29, the district that shines, that's located in Southeast Queens, because Southside, we outside. Okay, I have to digress. I just love my place and my space, but I digress.
We are part of that collaboration of the Education Equity Action Plan Coalition that heralded that charge, the charge of New York City Council. Thank you, Rita Joseph. Thank you for sharing that. We want culturally responsive education and accurate education to talk about how we educate our children. So along with Eagle Foundation, along with the United Way of New York City, along with Teachers College, and along with BE-U, ABNY is charged with stakeholder engagement, and our role is to help with the advocacy and the engagement of that curriculum, to talk about what's going on with the curriculum. You've seen a little, you heard a little about EEAPC, and you'll be hearing more about EEAPC.
We are so honored and privileged to be a part of this coalition to do this work that is long overdue. As an educator, as a mother of 3, we are so steeped in all phases of this work, thinking about the curriculum, thinking about refining and revising. Many of you in this audience were a part of this. This is a curriculum for the people, by the people, and we are so grateful for your collaboration. We will continue to need your support as we move forward to get ourselves ready. They say that we carry generational trauma in our bodies, but I think this curriculum is about tapping into generational power. It's about understanding our legacy, understanding the richness of our history, that our children understand to retrieve the past is to see a way forward. We are in this together, we need you, and we are excited to be a part of this coalition and this work.
Good evening. I am so happy to be here, honored and proud, and I have to say, Chair Joseph has me beat. I'm a mother of 3 Black boys. I see you're a mother of 4, so just that is I hold that at the core of everything that I do, every decision that I make, and I bring that into every room that I enter. I'm really proud to represent the United Way of New York City and our hundreds of CBOs that we partner with across New York City. We spoke a lot about the curriculum, but we know that that can just be ink on paper. It's about how we prepare people to implement and to receive. So one, really thinking about building public will. Our narrative is important. We see all over the country, folks are moving away from the very basic history. So we have to control the narrative and make sure that the media is on our side and we are telling our own stories. So that's key to the United Way.
It is actually, a real distinct honor, pleasure to introduce Corinne Apollon. I'm going to ask her just to wait one moment, just one moment, because I really want to get this out and I want everyone here to hear it. Dr. Banks is our family, right? So we just think he's great. But I want to tell you that he did something historic. New York City Public Schools has never had a chief diversity officer before, until he came along and said, hey, wait a minute, something's not right. And he thought enough about it. It was reflective. And he decided that Corinne Apollon should come forward and she should take on that task. She should lead the DOE's Minority Women Business Enterprise Strategies to greatly expand economic opportunities for women and minority-owned businesses and our diversity, equity, and inclusion strategies in hiring practices.
The next most important thing is around supply diversity, and I cannot state this enough. Economic empowerment is what is necessary to give us a voice, the opportunity to make change, and every day you do a yeoman's job in your communities and in your schools. Why is it that our businesses cannot participate? DOE is a $38 billion business that spends approximately $12 billion a year, and less than 3% goes to MWBE. And within that number, there is a disparity within the disparity. Of that 3%, less than 0.03 go to Black businesses, less than 0.02 go to Hispanic businesses. That is a problem. It's not gonna work. We are building a business development plan that will seek to support entrepreneurs in their local communities, help them to build their capacity, work with mentorship organizations, work with banks and investors to be able to uplift the work that's happening in our communities. One thing we had in the pandemic, which is a silver lining, unfortunately, what we recognized when we came back to schools is that our communities were suffering with trauma. And the resources and the support they need are within their communities, right? We need in-language support. We need trauma mitigation. All that needs to happen in our communities. We don't need big corporate entities to come save us. Thank you. You will hear more about this work. I will call on every one of you. And we are making changes within the DOE to ensure that this happens. Thank you for your time.
BE-U was unapologetic when we said we want to get out there and support, like Black children, right? But unless we start really looking at the role that racism and white supremacy plays, right? I said it, right? Racial injustice, and start making it part of a civil rights issue. Like, unless we start addressing those issues, there's always gonna be this system in place. So we all have to play a role in that. I know I'm preaching to the choir, but I'm gonna end on this note. At the beginning, I said, that question around ending school to prison pipeline, fixing schools. Good question, not the right question. And I don't know if Dave is here. I thought I saw him come in, right? All right. So Dave, the next time someone asks you that, this is what I want you to tell them. The right question is, how strong is your commitment to protecting our students? the right question, right? How are you confronting the way actions and institutions lead to different outcomes for black students? And what are you doing to remove the pain? Because underneath the pain lies the power. But in order to get to the power, we got to go through the pain, right? So forget the rain. Can you stand the pain? Thank you, George Patterson.
The spirit of BU has always been about collaboration and people connecting with each other in the room. And I really hope that we don't miss that, because that's always been the tradition that Bernard Gasway and I had started from way back, that when you were in this room, right, that we will stay connected, right? Equity for me is about business as well, right? And so there are a lot of people who are very content to see the chancellor go off and just read to some first graders in the Bronx and play chancellor, right? I didn't come here to play with this. We came here to make sure that we got access to real dollars. There are billions of dollars that are spent every year, and we're not even really in the game, okay? So if you have a business, this is the message for you tonight. If you have a business, if you got a brother, sister, cousin, somebody who has a real business and they're looking for real opportunity, then you see Kareem. If not, you can just meet everybody else and keep it moving. But that's the reason why she's here. She didn't come here just to be cute. She came here to make connection for those who are really about their business. The two of you are doing your thing out there in Queens. Now come here, because this is really important. Josephine Van Ness, who has the Queens high schools, and Crystal, who's got District 29, which is really important to me. That's the district that I grew up in Cambria Heights, in District 29, critically important. Now, but 29 has had a lot of challenges over the years, and it's not the gold standard district that it really needs to be. And so from now on, if you in District 29 and y'all got any issues, stuff is going down, you got things that need to happen, don't call me. These are the two ladies y'all better see. I'm only going to be the chancellor for a short period of time, right? And so my goal here in doing this is to see, can we really move the needle? Our theme is Bright Starts and Bold Futures. Talk about equity, let's teach the kids to read, damn it. Let's teach the kids to read, because I'm going to tell you something else. It's not just, it's about our history, our culture, identity. We need all of that. But we need some basic foundations in learning how to read. So we're changing our approach to that, because I've been in school systems around the nation where folks are adorned in kente cloth all day long and can't read. But that doesn't change unless we give them the skills that they need. That's what we're focused on. That's what we're trying to create, thousands and thousands of apprenticeships, internships, real world experiences while they're still in high school. When they're in middle school, getting exposure to what the real world actually looks like. I visited Rikers Island, and I had a number of young men in the room who said to me, they had dropped out of high school, but they were now in school on Rikers Island, studying HVAC, electrical, plumbing. One young man put his hand up and said, "Mister, if I was doing this in high school, I would have never dropped out." Hey, think about that. So you had to wind up coming to Rikers Island to find the opportunity. He said, when I was in regular school, we weren't doing anything. We were just doing school. I firmly believe that we have to change it, and I don't want to just talk about it. I'm trying to be dramatic, to bring about dramatic improvement.
We serve black educators, we influence others, and we impact black children. It's not our mission. That is our vision. And it is the vision that we must constantly keep our mind on, because the vision is going to be the thing that outlasts all of us in this room. We're not doing this for now. We're doing this for others who yet don't even know about BU, don't know about the Black Studies curriculum. We're doing this for a child that has yet to be born. So it is so critically important that we understand that this is our vision. This is why we're here. This is so important because BMCC is part of the history of BU, which is part of the new history of the black history that we're creating. When we came here 4 years ago, a gathering of black educators, we had no organization. We just were a group of black educators that said, we need to do something about reclaiming the narrative. We need to do something about raising black voice. And we came together. And we met. And we organized around an agenda. And you should all have that agenda. It was given to you when you came in. Some of you, because of the idea and the vision of serving black educators, some of you now sit in positions of leadership. Some of you have elevated from teacher to principal, from principal to superintendent. And I want to say congratulations to all our new principals and superintendents. Congratulations. But I want to also say this to you with, it's just a saying, every time a black man says with all due respect, he's about to say something disrespectful. With all due respect, I want to say this to you. Do not live in your title. Do not live in your title. Live in the vision. Live in the service to others. Live in the relationship and the work. Our people are suffering. They don't need your title. Some of us who were superintendents, and I'm going to say it, when there was a process put in place by our chancellor said that we're going to make everybody reapply, some people, they live so much in their title, they got mad. Who does he think he is to do this? That was a sense of entitlement because you were living in your title. My question is, I'm serving black educators here. My question is, if you lose the title tomorrow, could you still have the impact? If you lose the title tomorrow, will you still do the work? So remember, this is about the work. Our chancellor, I've been with him before he was chancellor. I've been with him now as chancellor. And I can tell you, he never leads with title. Never. Never. Matter of fact, he frowns on it. People, he tell me, I go into a school and they big fanfare, and he says, you know what? I don't need all of that. Because I'm here to do the work.
I am the leader of the Culture and Community Committee. Our matriarch, Mama Roz, couldn't be here with us. Our theme is Our Culture is Our Cure. We know that understanding our culture and our royal history will allow us to heal. We are boots on the ground to help all cultures and all communities become aware about Black people and our achievements. We first have to pour into ourselves, love on ourselves, love each other by really knowing our history, and feed Black children and families our real history and our culture. This also has to be done in our schools. We are looking to recruit and retain Black teachers and administrators who understand our inequities and our plight as Black people. Specifically, not just anyone, but Black people aligned with BU values. Because we want our movement to grow, but we know that quality work and people wins over quantity. Thank you. I'm Katora Hardy, also Dr. Blake's Chief of Staff.
Good evening, everyone. I'll be very brief. My name is Kaya Royal from Advocacy, and I want to say something really quick. We all know in our space, in our jobs, there are people that are loitering in space. And there's a man here that said something to me that always stuck with me, some guy from Queens. And he said to me, if you don't move, the people will move you. At Advocacy, that is our job, to move the people when you don't want to move. We are working on our 2 of our 7-point actionable items agendas. that is to mandate the consistent and authentic integration of comprehensive Black history and societal contributions and societal justice education across all disciplines within K-12. You've heard about the Black Studies curriculum. That has already been implemented. The 6, increase the hiring of Black teachers to support the development of Black faculty members and improve leadership opportunities among Black educators. In New York, less than 18% of Black educators are Black and brown, according to the data from the New York State Education Department. Less than 4% are Black men. And of the principals in the state of New York, 4,610, 12.6 are Black. So we must be more pugilistic in our stance in advocating for Black and brown children in our future, and we must be unapologetic.
I'm Dr. Nairi Dawn Dixon, and I am joined here with
Principal Anne Marie Malcolm.
And we are the new dynamic duo who are going to co-lead the capacity team for BU under Dr. Blake and Michelle Patterson. So we serve Black educators, influence others, and impact Black children through our work.
We appreciate the capacity leadership of Dr. Green on the direction of our president, Dr. Shango Blake, during the 2021-2022 school year. Dr. Dixon and I are building upon that foundation to impact the capacity team and to feel a greater extent. Our mission is to influence and develop the capacity of Black educators. We are committed to promoting a call to action that ensures equity, transparency in all schools, and to develop a system of networking and mentorship in support of Black educators. As part of our mission and alignment to the 7-point agenda for the 2022-2023 school year, we will focus on the following: the consistent and authentic integration of a comprehensive Black history and societal contribution, civic and social justice education across all discipline within the K-12 curriculum.
Remember, if the hunter is the only one that tells the story, the lion's story is never told.
When I was at a similar meeting to this, I fell in love with BU's mission. I started to work tirelessly with Michelle and Karen and so many other people on the policy committee, help with some foundational stuff with membership, did some tech and hosted some of the remote meetings while we were all away with COVID. I'm now part of the core leadership team. Skipping ahead, Kojo, who you just heard from, saw my work ethic, dedication to the cause. He offered me a position in Staten Island. This is my first year there. I'm already a social emotional lead. I'm helping to design and implement SEL school-wide. I'm on the academic enrichment team, analyzing data, designing and implementing targeted intervention. I am in charge of the school's My Brother's Keeper initiative. Usually teacher first year at a new school doesn't have all this opportunity and responsibility for the foundational direction of the school and the students' opportunities for empowerment. And this is a school where, when Kojo got there very recently, very little representation of these kids didn't see themselves represented in the teachers. And Kojo is working through that. I know so many other people working through that. Thank you.
We're attacked as a community. And I'm a person, I believe in circular values, but just referencing Maslow's hierarchy of belief, we forced into survival, safety, right? So building community is very important. I mean, my father, he participated in a generation of 40 organizations. And so when I, came to BU, it was very important. And I mean, it was powerful. I was able to gain a mentorship of people who sat in administration. Through connecting, I was able to, somebody called me because it's like a ripple in a pond. It just keeps going in networking.
Tonight, let me just say this. This movement, as you heard, is transforming the landscape of education. We will not stop until every child receives what they need to thrive. BU will continue to challenge systemic barriers that deny our children equal access to opportunities. I want to echo everything that my colleagues have said here tonight. Their sentiments are right on the ball. As you heard, the Black Studies curriculum is here. It's in our schools. We're getting ready to unroll it, unpack it. I'm excited about that. In addition, when we talk about the number of Black educators, as it was mentioned earlier, only 20% of our Black and brown educators represent us in the school system. We need to change that.